So here's the question I wanted to ask you on the heels of this conversation about social media. And this sounds dramatic, but I mean it. What is social media and modern technology doing to our humanity? That's the first question. I then want to talk about like how is that impeding man's ability to receive the proclamation of the gospel? So first of all, what's it doing to our humanity?
I think it's keeping us occupied as opposed to, I don't know if even engaged is the right word.
That's very interesting.
Because you're just, like, you're not really, and this is the problem with, I mean, not to go too much down this rabbit hole, but the whole, I don't know, Balthasar's idea of the anima technica vacua, if I'm pronouncing that right.
For those who aren't aware, what does that mean?
So it's half a minute.
We're timing you.
Yeah, he's the best at this stuff, so.
The more technology encroaches in our everyday life, the more it creates, we turn to it to make us feel complete and feel happy and feel human, but it's actually creating a vacuum within our hearts. So you have this full out desire to sell yourself online, but it's crippling your development of it as a human person,
And like
community.
Action is more important than
Contemplate.
understanding, and it's ultimately the rift between grace and nature, and what does that look like on the day-to-day life.
Perfect example of this is young girls in America, at least, used to have a culture where there were diaries. Dear diary, blah, 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 and you have a little lock and you lock it. This one feminist author I was reading, she said, look at how women all over America grew up reflecting.
Yeah, introspective.
At the end of the day, dear diary, I kissed the boy today and it was crazy, you know, like whatever. But they're processing their emotions. Now with Instagram, they document, and then they move on and they live for people to like, and then they never think about it again. And she said, I'm afraid of what that's doing to our young girls growing up in an environment where self-reflection is never a part of their day.
That was an excellent distinction you just made there. I hadn't thought of that before.
Yeah.
Occupied versus engaged.
Yeah, because we care more about, like the tool. So like that's the part of the like ATV where things get weird. It is the techne, the tool, how that's just empty and there isn't anything there.
Yeah, the tool shapes you, not just we shape
and we don't have anything else going on with our life. There is no God now. We've basically got rid of God.
Yeah.
We replaced him with man.
We've placated our desire.
Yeah. That fell apart at the
Suffocated.
end of the Second World War.
Yeah.
So now it's like, well, let's just get engaged with this stuff that we have. We have
and
cool
call it
toys.
progress.
Yeah.
You know, and you have right on that line, you have Pope John Paul II talking about how in Love and Responsibility, how we so often replace virtue with technique or technological
That's
applications.
Cosmopolitan magazine.
Yes, exactly.
102 ways.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's no love.
Yeah,
It's
in terms of
has to replace
chastity, I thought this was a brilliant comment, and I think it might have been Chris Stefanik was the first place I heard it. But he said, you know, or maybe Jason Everett, but we've replaced love. When you have a sexual relationship without love and commitment, what do you have? You have technique. And so people are rated on how much pleasure they give me or how well they perform. And that's Cosmopolitan Magazine, you know, 100 ways to set the sheets on fire tonight, you know.
Yeah.
So it's nothing but technique. But then Luke applied it. One day he said the exact same quote, but it had nothing to do with chastity. And it's like when you don't have Christ at the center of your life, when the love you have for God is not at the center, all you have left is technique. And so you can do that in the rad-trad way where you're obsessive with the external form.
Size
right?
of the candlesticks.
Right,
Exactly.
and all of that
Exactly.
stuff. You can do it in the progressive liberal Catholic way of felt banners and, you know, whatever weirdo songs you introduce and all of that stuff. You can do it in all these different ways that...
It's St. Paul, a form of religion while denying its power.
100%.
Exactly.
Right?
Like
the externals without the internals.
Like, stop and think about the terms that like we use as a culture about things that we like. This is everything.
Yeah.
This is so great that it's like
All
what
the
do you mean
things.
all the things, all of the feels. It's it doesn't mean anything.
I have to say, I hate the phrase feels. And I hate it because it patronizes like a legitimate, like a human experience to a particular beautiful thing. It just trivializes it.
And that's the great insight of C.S. Lewis in Abolition of Man, where he talks about men without chests. Like we go from the head, right, of the understanding of the head as rational man, and then my urges, the stomach, right, like the desires, the base desires that I have. And he talks about how it's not just sentimentalism that we kind of have a cheapened version of it, but he talks about our emotions should be driving us. He said, but now we become men without chests. We're either rationalistic or we're driven by our urges, and we don't understand that emotions actually can touch reality. But if you're just shallow, you're just going for these quick emotional things. That's why I don't watch This Is Us.
I don't know.
I refuse to watch This Is Us because that's everyone's just crying.
I mean,
every week.
what is Friends?
Some Jack Johnson-like guitar.
Exactly. Like Friends, How I Met Your Mother, and I love those shows because it was like a reflection of my time. And I remember being like how there were times when I would watch How I Met Your Mother and be like, holy crap, this is my weekend. I just went through all of this. And but it's this weird micro dose of like your friends, of like having a life. And there was a point in time where it honestly became too painful to watch How I Met Your Mother because after I'm just moved away from all my friends just being like it was like painful, and I was like, not in a good way.
Yeah.
Just it was weird. It was really weird.
I think that it's like technology has become both the cause of our agitation and our comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So it causes agitation, but it also consoles that agitation.
Yeah.
So we're in this perpetual state of feeling agitated, and then we turn to technology to console the
drug.
agitation.
Yeah. It's
a
Homer
drug.
Simpson's
That's what a
quote
drug
about
does.
alcohol.
That's what a drug is.
Beer,
Yeah.
the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. Homer Simpson said that.
So this is, and I've used this. I've used this before. This kind of story. So forgive me if you've heard it. But when I grew up, my parents, if you wanted to get in touch with them or me, you've heard me say this.
Yeah.
3 ways, like legit. That's all I can think of. You call them. They didn't have an answering machine, so you couldn't leave an answering machine. So if we weren't home, that's it. No answering machines. Yeah, Australia, baby. Well, there are, but my parents didn't have one. And they'd take the phone off the hook for dinner and things like that. And, secondly, you could write a letter to us and post it to our house. And then the third way is you could go up the shops and see if we were there and be like, hey.
What does go up the shops
Oh,
mean?
so in Australia, like shops is like going to the store. I'm going up to the shops.
I know what you meant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go up.
No, it's an Australian kind of expression, I think, especially in a small country
makes
town. But
sense.
that's it. Now, that isn't to say that people weren't, what's the phrase you use? Not engaged, but...
Occupied.
Occupied.
it's not to say that people weren't just occupied in the numbing sense with, not jigsaw puzzles,
No, but like
crossword puzzles
there
and
were
things,
ways.
and sport and television.
Because like
It's
Play
just that
solitaire
there's
endlessly.
infinitely more ways to do that.
well, and it's tough too because these things are designed to keep you there.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and they're
right.
trying to.
Solitaire by yourself isn't designed to keep you there.
Yeah.
It just occupies you.
Crosswords kind of are once a week in the local newspaper. It's a different one. It's designed. I mean, that's
But it's like
not enough.
interactive. Like Luke he told me this, and I didn't know this, that in the accessibility setting, you can make your phone black and white or grayscale. And people who do that, their interaction with their phone drops like by 50 or more %.
Yeah.
And you realize that the use of color is part of the game.
It is.
And so, like famously, this woman, she was called 50 Shades of Blue. She used the right color blue for Google's logo. She, I think it's, Melissa. She's the woman that became the CEO of Yahoo to try to save it. But her whole
Good
thing
luck.
was, it didn't work. But she did A/B testing to get the right color blue and to understand people's response to it. For like 50 different shades of blue. And there was a winner. And so this is scientific. It's what there's a whole thing at Stanford, which is the school for the West Coast Silicon Valley people. That it's changing human behavior by machine learning, or machines changing human behavior. That's their tagline. And the whole thing is, how do we use psychology, sociology, and gamification to alter brain patterns?
Like game theory now is a popular class for people to take on like open online things to learn how to like.
There's a reason why companies that design games on the iPhone hire psychologists.
Yeah.
Because they need to know the right amount of
So-
frustration so you'll pay the $1 every time to win the level.
So this is very disturbing.
Yeah.
And so we're saying that this is what it's doing to our humanity. And to be clear, we don't mean those people out there in the world. We're talking about us.
We're talking
Yeah,
about,
no,
you know,
we're
we're talking
like-
about Luke.
We're talking about Luke. So this is what it's doing to us. Because I like that again. I'm going to really remember that occupied, not engaged, because we've all had the experience of trying to. I've even had the experience of watching a video. I open up another tab and I'll play another video, and there's 2 videos playing, and I can't watch them. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, or I'm checking my text message while I'm watching Netflix.
I'll tell you what you're doing. You're living the life. My friend.
And you think, I can't live this way. So what the bloody hell do we do? There's got to be something we can do.
I think
virtual reality is about to come out. I don't want to get involved
amazing.
with that in any sense.
I just tried it and it was incredible.
Because it's like with every advancement in technology, there is a poverty that results. And that goes back to the bicycle and the post office and the...
How does a tool change you?
There's always a poverty that results, and I'm tired of going down this road.
This is where I think the new evangelization actually comes in, because if you look at like how Benedict talks about it, he calls it the art of living.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of us, the new evangelization has been how to evangelize others, how do we evangelize the culture as opposed to a way of life.
Yeah.
And I think what you're going to see in the church is a callback to Christianity being a way to live.
Yeah.
And really getting
And not
more
just
into,
a worldview.
Yeah, not a worldview,
intellectual
or not my like a political thing, but like how I live. They will know we are. Yes. They will know we are Christians because the TV's not in the living room, because it's in the basement, or it's in there, or we don't have a TV.
Yeah, we have bookshelves filled with beautiful books.
Yeah. Like, this is one of the reasons why I like vinyl records. Is because it's a process.
Yeah,
I have to
agree.
put it on. I have to sit there. I know.
You can bash on it in a second, but I agree.
I totally agree.
It's like this is the crassest analogy I can come up with. It's the difference between fornication and marital love.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah.
I can't believe anybody would ever say exactly to that comment. But yeah, I mean, I did
love
this.
CDs. What does it say about me?
Yeah, you're a player.
Quick and efficient.
Back in.
Sorry.
It was back in August. I gave up the internet, gave up my phone, and wanted to listen to music. Couldn't listen to it on my phone, and so I bought a vinyl record player. And there's something about driving to a store, flicking around, deciding what I'll get, taking it home, having to treat the object with respect that plays the music, actually take care of it. And it's not just I'm going to listen to this number and this number. No, I'm going to listen to it the whole way through. It really helps you appreciate music, even if the quality's not as good.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you. It's warmer. That's scratching. It's a piece of plastic carved out.
Okay, we get it. You don't like gold things.
I'm triggered.
Yo, thanks for watching. You can watch the entire episode on YouTube if you want. You can listen to it at The Matt Fradd Show by subscribing on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And feel free to support me, patreon.com/MattFradd.